NATO, which stands for the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, is a political and military alliance between member states based on the principle of collective defense. It was first established by 12 member states from Europe and North America in 1949 in response to growing fears around the Soviet Union during the Cold War. The famous Article 5 of the North Atlantic, or Washington, Treaty means an attack against one member state is considered an attack against all of them. Article 5 was invoked for the first and only time following the September 11, 2001 attacks on the US, which led some NATO members to invade Afghanistan. Other notable NATO actions include its military interventions in the former Yugoslavia in the 1990s and in Libya in 2011, both launched in response to civil wars. Today, NATO is the largest military alliance in the world. NATO currently comprises a total of 32 member states from Europe and North America. The member state with the largest military budget is the United States, followed by Germany, the UK, France, and Poland. To become members of NATO, countries must agree to contribute to the security of the North Atlantic area and further the principles of the Washington Treaty, including collective defense, adherence to the UN Charter, and a commitment to democracy, human rights, and the rule of law. Countries that wish to join are also expected to meet certain political, military, and economic criteria. These criteria are set out in the 1995 study on NATO enlargement and include an upholding of civil liberties, a willingness to contribute financially to the organization, and the domestic maintenance of a functioning democratic system. All member states must consent for a new member to join. Since 2006, NATO members have pledged to spend at least 2% of their GDP on defense. In 2024, 22 members fulfilled this commitment, but debate continues regarding the equitable sharing of responsibilities and costs within NATO, with the US spending roughly twice as much on defense as all other member states combined. NATO is a risk mitigation, crisis management, and geostrategic, both diplomatic and military, organization. As such, it aims to foster cooperation between member states to prevent war. When war does occur, however, it acts as a forum for organization and collaboration. Current and former NATO operations are reflections of those two main functions. NATO currently maintains a small 4,500-person peacekeeping force in Kosovo as a legacy of the 1999 military intervention. KFOR, Kosovo, aims to foster security and prevent the outbreak of violence. NATO ground forces also remain in a collaborative intelligence sharing and aiding capacity in Iraq and the African Union to assist governments in handling threats from insurgent groups. Standing naval forces share maritime intelligence and carry out scheduled exercises together to strengthen the alliance's naval posture. Operation Sea Guardian ensures the maritime security of the Mediterranean Sea, while the Aegean activity has used naval ships to assist with managing the refugee crisis since 2016. NATO is also in charge of air security, running an air policing mission over the skies of Europe. Since the full-scale invasion of Ukraine by Russia in 2022, NATO and its member states have played a leading role in providing economic, military, and political assistance to Ukraine. This assistance includes military equipment, training, maintenance, logistics, funding, and technology. In 2024, NATO pledged to continue supporting Ukraine's efforts to join the alliance. The success of NATO is widely discussed on the international stage. During the Cold War, NATO protected the sovereignty of democratic nations by deterring a potential invasion by the Soviet Union. In recent years, it has played a crucial role in preventing the complete annexation of Ukraine by Russia. Moreover, by requiring certain political and economic standards to be met in order to qualify for membership, NATO promotes key democratic values and ensures its members uphold the rule of law. For example, For many former Eastern Bloc countries, such as Poland and Hungary, membership usually came with the pressure to implement democratic reforms and uphold international law. This has helped to stabilize the region and promote democracy. However, NATO has in the past failed the promotion of democracy as a primary goal of intervention. The military intervention of NATO in Afghanistan has been blamed for destabilizing the region, and the organization was criticized for focusing more on military rather than democratic objectives. Democracy failed to take hold, and the Taliban returned to power after NATO's withdrawal in 2021. NATO has also been criticized for tolerating authoritarianism within its own member states, such as military coups and dictatorships in Greece, Turkey, and Portugal in the mid-20th century. More recently, NATO has been accused of ignoring democratic backsliding in some member states. Ultimately, debate continues over whether a military alliance can effectively promote democracy, and to what extent democracy is a priority for NATO.